these strange, we call them synchronicities, where you turn on the TV, and sure enough, there's like that movie that you just had a dream about that's talking about that very same concept. Or you turn on the radio, and it's just it's talking to you. So I've incorporated most of those events, and the story continues. I just need to go back and edit it, and really I do want to work with like a real storyteller, because the great authors, there's certainly an art to how you begin a chapter, how you build up suspense and leading into the next chapter and having the overarching thing. That it's a story worth telling, but it's got to be done right. And I just don't. I'm learning that too as I go through YouTube and looking at different people giving tips on storytelling, building characters and dialogue, and how to again begin a chapter. And maybe that's what I'll eventually do. Maybe I just will write it myself. But I just think it's something that needs exposure now. So I've reached out to different authors and personalities, even like movie makers. And I've got a story for you. Like you look at the Matrix, the Wachowski siblings. And there's no doubt in my mind they've been through similar things. That's what led them to write these stories that I think they'd appreciate the story that I have to tell. That maybe I'll just make it a movie. So in terms of the timeline before it's published, we're probably talking about another year before it sees the light of day, before it's polished enough where I'd be happy with it. But it will happen. To me, it has to happen. People that have you talked about near-death experiences. People that have those experiences, I think part of the revelation there is just profound sense. I need to share this story. I have to. You can ridicule me and whatever, but things are not going to be okay if I don't share this story, and that's how I felt.
Well,
it needs to see the light of day sometime.
Yeah, I mean, you took initiative. You had a dream, and you're
Yep.
writing it down, and trying to make a book. It's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that a lot of people don't even have those ambitions or dreams to do it. It's the same way like doing a talk show. I mean, it was a dream I had back in the 70s, and that's when I got into radio back in 1976, and my first show was a paranormal show. So, I mean, people have wants and dreams and desires, and you have a message you want to get out to people. And, it's really hard to put that down on paper, to relate to other people where they can look at it and relate to it.
Yeah, it can seem hard, but then once you do it, like with my first book, then you recognize, this is what life is, to contribute my art or my story. Then life takes on this whole new flavor, this whole new appreciation, and there's just a million things I want to tell people. We're not here to conform and follow tradition. We're here to evolve and grow, and so it's okay to challenge the status quo. And not only is it not okay, that you're rewarded for that with passion, and I'm sure you can testify to that with your radio show. I wish everyone would recognize that and do that. You have a message. Like we've all been through things, crazy relationships and breakups, and friends dying from cancer, and it's lessons learned through life, and we're here to help each other. So tell your story. That's your keys to the kingdom. My schizophrenia and all the struggles and seeing my niece die and all the things I went through, and you recognize that you think it's a punishment, and it's not. That gives you your value for the world. Once you've come through it, to then go tell the story. That's the reward. And I think a lot of people don't ever live their life. They never share their story. They never speak up for themselves.
Yeah.
And they end up on their deathbed with all kinds of regrets.
Yeah, and a lot of people do. Hey, our time is almost up. How can they find you on YouTube? You said you have things on YouTube. How would they find you?
Yeah, great. Thank you. Well, I've got a few channels on YouTube. I do one channel where I just talk about all kinds of subjects, from politics, some of the my thoughts on religion and paranormal. It's Neo, like the Matrix, Neo, Neo Robertson. So my dad was named Robert. That was my pseudonym, Neo Robertson. I've got just a bunch of videos on a diverse number of subjects there. I have a channel where I talk about the book I wrote a couple years ago, The Evolution of Love, and this is my revolutionary take on relationships and love. That to me, it's not about marriage or possessiveness. That when you love someone in a healthy, evolved, this is part of the evolution too, a way that you would never ask them to stay with you out of obligation. And this removes all the fear and I think confusion out of our relationships. So that's The Evolution of Love, Doug McWilliams, and I've got Doug McWilliams music where I play some of my songs, and I would love to be that Bob Dylan, right, for this time, this generation. I'm working on my songwriting, but for now it's a lot of covers, acoustic, kind of folky rock covers. And then the book I wrote was The Evolution of Love, Doug McWilliams. That's on Amazon. But just to be real with anyone who might be interested, I'm trying to cover all the concepts from that book and just put it up for free on YouTube. I don't care about the money. It's not about selling books. I want to be notorious. I want to be infamous. I want to change the world, and I don't care what the consequence is. And I've got a petition on change.org demanding new elections. You can look for that. I got my world peace plan, right? Like basically the 12 steps that all of us as human beings need to focus on in the world to finally bring lasting peace. Let's leave a legacy, right? In this time of darkness and pessimism, let's just go big. We are going to die someday. Accept it, knowing that without fear. Now, what is our life about? What the hell are we here for? Let's go big. I don't need money. I just need people chiming in and sharing the message. So those are some of the projects I have going on.
Well, it sounds like you got a lot of different projects.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I'm going big. I didn't share all the, right around that time, a couple years ago, before I had my schizophrenia, I was in such a dark place. My niece was dying from brain cancer. She was 3 years old. My dad had cancer. He wasn't going to the doctor. My friend was in jail. On and on it goes. And I looked at all the nonsense and BS of the world, where I was ready to give up, and I would never commit suicide. But I had this dialogue with God of the universe and said, you can take me, make this place better. I hate it. And that experience, then I had the epiphany. Well, Doug, if you're ready to die, now you're ready to fight like hell. And again, look back at all the stories that we have to have that moment where you're faced with your mortality, and not to fear it, just own it and say, well, I'm not going out like that. That's not the way of the warrior. And from then, that's where it all exploded. My YouTube videos, my music, my petitions, I needed to have it. I knew that in my heart that there was that Martin Luther King kind of spirit, but I was always afraid, because you don't speak up without, in this world, you'll pay the price. And I wasn't ready to pay the price until then. So anyway, yeah, that's it. I'm going big or going home.
Okay. Hey, well, Douglas, I'm going to have to let you go. But again, you can find Douglas on YouTube. How about a Facebook? Do you have a Facebook page they can go?
Yeah, I think Facebook, it's like Doug McWilliams, and you'll see if, as far as appearance goes, I've got like the Wolverine sideburn chops, because it's fun to look different. It's just Doug McWilliams, and I put stuff on there too, Amazon, or what else is there? Those are my main two, Facebook and YouTube, and you should see me.
Okay, sir.
And look for that novel, again, be coming out next year or two. Hopefully make a movie. I am in Hollywood, so I've got, different friends here in different parts of the industry that I think that's part of what I'm here for, too. But it has to be made into a movie someday, so I think you'll see it on the big screen someday.
Okay, Douglas. Well, I want to thank you for being on Night Dreams, and you have a great evening.
Pleasure.
Okay, my friend.
Good talking to you, Gary. Thank you very much for having me. Wish you all well. Have a good night.
A night. Yeah, not paranormal like the way I thought it was going to be. We didn't really get into UFOs or aliens, and I want to apologize to all the people have been messaging me about, hey, it's not paranormal. I apologize. But, I have really no control. When a guest is on, I mean, I pretty much let them talk what they want to talk about. If they want to go down a rabbit hole, they can go down a rabbit hole. I mean, we all have our own views. Well, what can I say? I mean, the earth changes and all that stuff. What do we have to look forward coming up here the next year? Are we going to be in World War III? Are we going to end up in war with China? I mean, are things going to escalate? Do you feel maybe with what's going on? Like the other day with the Navy ship and a Chinese destroyer coming within, a very, 45 yards of each other? And our ship had to make a lot of maneuvers to keep from getting hit. Are they trying to get us into a situation? Are we going too far? Are we pushing countries too far? I know Germany is not very happy with us. A lot of countries are not happy with what's going on right now. I love this country. I love the people in this country. People need to really open their eyes up, though, about what's going on. Like the flooding is happening in south of our country. And then, the southwest of our country is getting hammered. I mean, we got a lot of things going on, and we need to pray for all these people that are losing their homes. A few years ago when these major storms would come in, it'd be on the news like you wouldn't believe. I mean, it's story after story and all this stuff. It seems like when things happen now, it happens and then people forget about it like the next day or so. It's scary. People aren't caring about each other and about our planet as much as we should be. I don't know. Maybe I'm living in too much of mother or father knows best and leave it to Beaver type of Donna Reed show too much, where I thought people cared about each other. I'm still, I mentioned about the lady who ran over the bus and hundreds of people just walked by her and crossed the crosswalk. And a lot of the people didn't even look down to see if she was dead or alive or anything. I mean, you get run over by a bus, you're going to be seriously hurt, right? Well, then it happened again in Hong Kong where a person got hit. And people just, actually it showed the picture of the car. It hit her, backed up, and then took off. And, here's hundreds of people again. They're not doing anything. Nobody was running to that person's aid to help. What is going on? And you know what? They're talking about Yellowstone could go at any time. We don't know when that's going to happen, or the big, huge earthquake, or when, like our president's administration saying by the year, in the next 100 years, basically, that there's going to be major problem with global warming. Well, hey, it's not going to be 100 years. Look outside. It started now. Are we at the point of no return? I don't know. But dumping the EPA and then easing more restrictions on everything, it took all these years and all these years to implement. And now you're scrapping it to create a few jobs? What are we doing? I mean, come on. And China, it's so bad, like people wonder well, you know what? How does the paint stay on all these bikes that are made in China and don't chip? Well, it's because it's really toxic material that they use in the paint to make it really super hard that we can't use in this country. But the stuff is so toxic that people are dropping dead in China because of the pollution. Do we want the same thing in this country? It's already to the point older people have breathing problems because of the pollution. We need to tighten up. I don't know. Well, coming up later this week, we got Rob. It's going to be on, I think, Thursday. We're really going to be talking about UFOs, and what is going on with UFOs. I'm going to have a report from our Saturday host, the paranormal lawyer, Michael W. Hall, when he gets back. He's stuck right now in British Columbia. They got a lot of snow. Who? And this is just only the beginning of October.